this is Nona from thealliancelover.com. I have another video for you today looking at another romantic with a very different style. I recently looked over Christina Ricci's style, who is also a romantic, but she has a more dark, intricate, and gothic aesthetic. Here we are looking at Simmons, who has a more crisp and classic style. So in this series that I'll be continuing, I'll be looking at women and men of the same body type because they have similar proportions or features that they need to accommodate. But we'll be looking at their different styles so that you can be exposed to different ways of accommodating a certain body type. And this will help kind of disperse the discussion because I think a lot of the discussion is based around one or two very popular subjects of a certain type, and their particular style tends to be equated with what needs to be applied to a type. So we're going to explore a little bit more range in the series. So Simmons looks amazing in just very simple fitted sweaters with ruffle mock necks, jewel crew necks. She likes high neck, simple, solid sweaters. So the trick to really pulling this off as a romantic is to, one, find a soft, fluid fabric, because a rigid and very hard, rough, heavy fabric is going to end up looking very boxy or bulky on you, even if you tuck it in, even if you try belting, it's still going to look quite rigid. So set yourself up for success and choose a fabric that's softer, that's more yielding, that will hug your curves without adding bulk, like thin, soft, delicate cashmeres, cashmere blends, rayon blends, anything with a little bit of stretch to it. Just make sure that it hugs your curves without adding too much bulk, too much volume, or without looking like it's flattening you, otherwise too tight. So the thing to note is that the crew neck, the jewel neck, the mock neck that narrows in on the smallest part of the neck frames the face, and it also frames the shoulders when you are wearing an appropriate fabric. So even if you have narrow shoulders or softly wide shoulders, you still want to clearly show off the shape of the shoulders with these sweaters. Here we have a little bit of puff sleeve action going on, but you can still see the shoulder line is quite clear. So watch out for the seams of your shoulders. Make sure that they're lining up with your shoulders. Don't pick anything that is extending way past if you want this very precise but softly fitted classic look. For a little bit of variety, I added this ruffle neck ribbed sweater. I like this one because you can just wear it as is. You don't need to tuck it in. You don't need to belt it. It is of a tapered shape where you will show off your curves, and the ruffle detail is quite cute. Just pay attention to how much ribbing your body or your silhouette can handle. So if the ribbing is overwhelming you, it's making you look flattened, it's making you look a little too compressed, skip it. So you have your solid sweater, sweater shirt, sweater dress, solid top. One way to make it look even more interesting is to add a silk scarf. So silk scarves can be worn in so many ways. It's actually an art form. It's incredible. Here we have, I believe, a French knot. Here's a bow knot. Here's the basic knot. In this photo, she is wearing it with these interesting ruffly pleats that you get when you fold it. You can also put your silk scarf through a ring and wear it like that to add even more interesting detail to it. There's just so many ways to tie this accessory. It really frames the face and it adds so much mileage to your wardrobe. So you can have 2 solid tops and 3 scarves. Those 3 scarves can make so many different looks depending on how you tie them. So if you're going to tie with a silk scarf, go more for narrow knots, narrow kinds of ways of draping it. Don't go too wide because that might erase your shoulders or add a little bit too much bulk. So if you are unsure, just opt for a more narrow orientation. Next up, we have delicate collars. So again, pay attention to the size. Make sure it's proportionate to your body. Make sure the shoulder seams are lining up. And the closer it is to your neck, the more face framing it will be. So you have the option of buying false collars, so you don't have to go buy a bunch of collared shirts. You can turn your current tops into collared tops by wearing false collars. You can also look for a top with a collar already built in, and because the collar is a little more dressy, it looks much more integrated with a puff sleeve, something with a bit more pizzazz to it. So that will help frame your upper body. The puff sleeve without the collar or without something that narrows in on the neck sometimes overwhelms a very delicate frame. So just try on different varieties and see what looks the most harmonious on your particular frame. Also look for a little bit of roundness or curve to the collar. Anything that's too angular, a bit too tailored will look harsh or severe and it won't look as integrated. Again, with this whole body type system, you are looking to mirror the qualities that you have in your clothing. So if you're a romantic and you're just full of soft, rounded lines, something that's extremely angular and sharp is not existent on your body. So when you wear it, it really, really stands out most of the time to the point where it looks disharmonious. So here we have some really lovely coats with collars that frame the face. Pay attention again to the size, the shape of the lapels of the collar, the lift. So you can have a beautiful collar, but if it just drags down really low on the body, it's not going to look as flattering as something a little bit closer to the face, perhaps with a little pop or a little bit of lift to it to really bring attention here and up. If you go for very wide oriented collars, they might make your shoulders disappear as well. All right, moving on from mostly solids, Jean also looks great in these more detailed, more luxurious looks. She is wearing plunging V-neck blouses or dresses with ornate prints, so you can search for these items in brocade, jacquard, embroidery, damask. All of these textiles have these threads woven into them that are either metallic or raised, and they create this beautiful, luxurious texture. So again, pay attention to the size of the neckline, how deep it is, how narrow or wide it is. See if the print looks too intricate and ornate on you, or if it's too big on you. Again, there is a lot of variety in size and shape, even within one body ID or body type. So again, you have to dress for you. And lastly, we have these more eye-catching but integrated prints. Integrated in this case means something that looks harmonious, that doesn't look separate, that really vibes with her proportions. So you can wear a striped sweater shirt with a collar on it, or you can wear a kind of wrap robe kimono sleeve dress, as long as it's proportionate. One more actually, we do see Jean in these cute little cropped trousers with the front seam or the front stitching. It's a little bit more stiff of a choice, not so drapey, not so soft, not so fluid. But if you really love it, just make sure that you're choosing a pair that hits you at your waist and hits you at the ankles or a little bit above the ankles. Just make sure you're not drowning in fabric. So here I just want to show off some looks that in theory should look amazing on her, at least for these three, but don't look as striking and iconic because they don't really match her essence or her persona, and they're a little costumey. So if you put Vivian Leigh or Christina Ricci in these very ornate dresses, you could easily imagine them wearing them on the red carpet, and it won't look as costumey and it won't look as theatrical. But just take into account your essence, see what you really organically thrive in, because in theory, even if it does look good on your body, if it doesn't match your persona, if it doesn't really match, the characteristics of your face, the expression you have, the energy you give off, you're probably not going to feel that great in it. And here is an example of just too much verticality, just too much sharpness, too much angularity, excess fabric, no shoulder definition, oversized collar. It's harsh. It's very, very harsh on her. So that was my video for today. If you have a style icon in mind who you would like me to consider making a video about, I would love to hear it. If you need any style guidance, my services are super tailored towards the individual. So none of what I do is like copy and paste, cookie cutter. No templates are made. I really, really celebrates the individual when styling. So if you're interested, check it out on my website, thealliancelover.com, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.